If you want to 2x or even 10x what you charge without necessarily having to change your service offering, you need to check out this video on how to upgrade your offer. This is a free training that I did inside of our private Facebook group, which I'll link up in the description below, where I kind of take you through a handful of things that you can consider or add on to your offer to make it more enticing to get more people to buy while commanding premium rates. So let's just jump right into that training right now. What's up, crew? Hope you are well. In this video, I want to talk about how to upgrade your offer. This comes from Alex Hormozi, who I interviewed in this group, wrote this book, $100 Million Offers. Great book if you haven't read it. And ever since I interviewed him, we still get a lot of questions around like using guarantees and all of that stuff to make your offer better. And so I put together this quick training to kind of break down like how to upgrade your offer and some key things to pay attention to along the way that I think you need to keep in mind. Now, here's the problem that I see with most agencies, service providers, etc., you people in this group. The problem is that many of you are not paid what you are worth. And you guys know that, you've told us that, and there's obviously reasons behind that we're going to get to. And because of that, not enough people are buying. They aren't coming to you, you respond to demand versus going to create demand and have people coming towards you. And that leads to a situation where buyers maybe are even buying slow, which means they get on the phone with you, they say they're interested, and then it turns into a 6-month sales cycle because they weren't really interested. And a lot of this comes down to your offer and how you're positioning it. And the opportunity here, once you have a great offer, you can actually upgrade that offer. And so you actually can sell the same thing for more money. I use this example of the 2 different pills because there's this story about, I believe it was Motrin or Excedrin, the aspirin, and the migraine version. So we'll just use Motrin for the example because I can't remember which one it is. It's Motrin and then Motrin migraine. Migraine is actually 3 times the price of the regular Motrin. But when you look at the ingredients, they're fundamentally the same ingredients. It's just that the specialization of migraine positions to solve a bigger, more painful problem, no pun intended. And so people actually will pay more for the same thing. And so when you have a good offer and you have the offer accelerants that I'm going to be talking about, you can actually sell the same thing that you already have for more money. One of the problems that we see a lot of people run into is that they start creating more stuff, which creates the complexity. So not only can you sell more of the same thing for more money, but you can sell more of it, meaning that you can start churning out repeatable sales. It's the transferring value, something that can be sold over and over and over again to your clients. And then lastly, repeat it over time without going stale. One of the things that comes up a lot in this book specifically is the fact that you can create promotions and things to create excitement around selling the thing that you've been selling all the while, but make it feel different so that you have a reason to promote. And so we need to kind of promote it, find ways to upgrade our offer where it doesn't go stale. My thought about this was like riding a bike. It never gets old. Like once you figure it out, you can still hop on a bike and smile. And so one thing that we need to cover first before I cover the different kind of ways to upgrade your offer that is really key here for all of you is the fact that the more attractive your solution, the less you need to rely on offer accelerants, which simply means, guys, some of you, I've been guilty of this too, are trying to put lipstick on a pig. And so that's why I want to introduce you to what I call the offer layer cake. And the offer layer cake is how we can upgrade our offer using these accelerants. Now, at the base of the cake, you have 2 very important things. You have the name of your offer and you have the promise. Now, I'm not going into both of these today because these are things that are kind of fundamental that you need to have in the cake. The name, obviously, there's different ways to name. We have a whole naming system inside of our programs and a way to position your promise so that it speaks to the outcome, like 7-minute abs, so to speak. That was not only the name, but it also had the promise in it. Your promise could be, 3 clients in 90 days, what have you. So there's different fundamentals of an offer that you need to have dialed in. Now, that whole statement I just made a minute ago about the more attractive your solution, the less you need to rely on accelerants really means that this is the special sauce, guys. Like the actual thing you do, the actual promise that you can create. The more dialed this lower tier is, the less you're going to need to focus on these things, and the more that they actually will become true accelerants. So if you don't have this, kind of like building on a faulty foundation, we run into a problem. So we need to have that. So what are the accelerants from there? Well, the first thing is what I call pricing power moves. An example here is oftentimes when we have clients come in and say they charge like 15 grand, and the clients are like, well, I can't afford 15 grand, that they think that the sale is done. They're bought in the process and all that stuff, but they don't come across the line. Now, they might have come across the line, and once we do pricing power moves, we can. Price is different than terms. And so a pricing power move is to play with the terms to get the price you want. What about collecting 5K up front and then another 5K and then another 5K to get your 15K, especially if, say, the delivery takes 90 days? Or maybe it's 10K up front and then the other 5K is spread across, a couple months, what have you. Like, there's different ways to play with your terms, your payment terms, so that you can get the price that you need. If you haven't explored payment terms where you could downsell your upsell, meaning collect more up front but then have lower monthly payments, because most people pay attention to their monthly versus the upfront, you could probably get clients in the doors. Then you go up the ladder again and you add things like scarcity and urgency. Now, to call out the difference, urgency is a function of time and scarcity is a function of availability. So let's look at urgency first. Urgency, you might say, hey, we get started on Tuesday. We start the next group on the 15th. Once the doors are closed, that's a little bit of scarcity and urgency potentially. So how do you add urgency to your offer? There are ways to even add urgency to offers that are rolling. Like, a lot of you have a recurring service or a recurring, training program or coaching training program, consulting program that you're always enrolling people, but you can still actually add urgency to that. Scarcity would be, the function of number of people. So like, hey, we're only taking 5 people. So this could be like only 5, or we only take, 10 new clients a month. And so we need to think about how we can also layer in scarcity and urgency inside of our offers to sell our thing. The next layer up the layer cake is bonuses and premiums. This is where you can bundle in stuff. You can say, hey, if you're joining in this cohort, you're going to get XYZ that we normally don't offer. You probably have things you utilize behind the scenes that you could potentially offer as a bonus. A simple one could be just giving a little bit more access to you and or someone on your team in a one-on-one capacity. And lastly, at the top is where you have guarantees, which is where Alex goes into a lot of detail on this book on the different types of guarantees, conditional guarantees, unconditional guarantees. And the interesting thing, guys, is that I see a lot of people come in and they haven't even dialed in their true offering and they start up here at guarantees. And the reality is, in services, guarantees get tricky, which is why the conditional guarantees are pretty popular once you utilize them. But the reason I turn this into a layer cake is because it's the icing. It will help you sell more stuff, but it can dramatically backfire if you haven't dialed in the foundation of the cake first, if that makes sense. And so a lot of people are out here focusing on guarantees right now, and they're putting lipstick on a pig. They're making these bold, grandiose claims when they haven't even dialed in the name and the promise yet. And quite frankly, the ability to deliver. Which brings me to another point, is your product, the deliverables, are different than the offer. The offer is the deliverables plus all of these things together to make someone want to buy it. The deliverables are just what they get. The offer is what they get from what you're selling them. Now, here's the deal. We can add all of these things over time as you get better with your foundational piece down here. I would first move up to pricing power moves, then I go to scarcity and urgency, then I would add premiums, and then I'd bring in guarantees. Like, that's the sequence of events that I would go through. So don't try to be the person who's putting lipstick on a pig, if that makes sense. Obviously as a client of ours, we help you dial in all of these things, focusing on getting positioning dialed in so people are wanting what you have, the name, the promise, actually having the deliverables, getting clients results so that you can then start moving up the layer cake and adding on things like scarcity, urgency, etc. But if you're struggling right now where you feel like your positioning isn't good, you're not getting paid what you're worth, you can deliver clients results, but like people aren't like wanting it and or moving forward quickly, you likely have an offer and positioning problem. Maybe you're not specialized enough. And so if you want to build a business, specifically an alt agency, an agency that serves you and not the other way around, we need to have a very clear outcome for what our offer gets our clients, right? A transformation. We need to sell results, not our hours. If you're not currently doing that yet, we'd love to chat with you, see if we can help. I'll drop a link in the comments below to schedule a call with myself or someone on our team. We'll look at what your offer is right now, maybe make some suggestions, and if it makes sense, we'd love to chat with you about working together on how we can move you through our process to productize your service, your intellectual property, so that you can delegate it to team members, remove yourself from fulfillment, even start positioning yourself more as a consultant and add training revenue streams to your business so you're more profitable. So fundamentally, we want to help you add the basics down here, then start moving up the offer layer cake inside of your own business. So if you'd like help, go ahead, check out the link below, book a call with our team, and we'll go from there. Hey, so I hope you enjoyed that training. If you actually want to get some free training like that, please join us over in our free alt agency Facebook group. I'll link it up in the description below. We go live with training just like that a couple times a month. We'd love to see you in there, in addition to obviously subscribing to the channel here. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.